Meet the Gravity Titan LED lights. In this video, we're gonna do an overview and an unboxing of our pair packs of lights, AKA the single standalone mount. So today we're gonna go over the high level, kind of the features, the benefits, the big, everything you need to know about these lights. And then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty, the specs for it. Then we're gonna open up a box of these things, show off a whole unboxing experience, cover everything that's included with it. We're gonna take a look at some of the accessories that you can use on the Titan lights. And then we're gonna wrap up the video by showing some real world beam pattern footage of what these lights look like out on the trail. So with that being said, I'm Taylor with KC. Let's get into it. For those of you that know about the Gravity family of lights, you might be asking yourself right now, what are the Titan lights and what makes them different from the Pro 6s? Well, the Titans build on their legacy of the Gravity lineup of lights with that iconic round styling, and these they introduce a brand new, innovative, high-end modern performance core in the middle of these things. So the single lights have 3 different beam patterns available. They have spot beam, wide 40 beam, and then a true SAE street legal driving beam. We're gonna show off the beam patterns of those in a little bit, but that's the core availability of all the different single Titan lights. Every single one of these lights use what we're calling the Titan core. That's this module on the inside. These have evolved the 2 LEDs per optic core from the Pro 6s now to 3 LEDs per Titan light. So what that means is now you have a much bigger and brighter illumination zone. So we filled out a much broader area for the output of these lights, so it has a lot more lower fill and more peak intensity while we're at it. So the Titans dial up everything you know about the Gravity lights up a few notches, so it's really exciting. While we were in there adding that extra LED to the all new Titan core, it also gave us the space to add in an amber LED. There's actually 3 amber LEDs per optic as well. You can think of this almost like a backlight, but a souped up version of that. So what we're calling it is almost like an amber forward-facing dust light. These are really good to turn on whether it's day or night, and you have people in front of you or oncoming traffic in the dirt, and they can see you through all of the dust and all of the elements that are being kicked up. So it's an amber light, but it's more than a backlight, but more like a forward-facing dust light. So those are 2 of the big features of the light, is the much increased output, the new amber mode, that's the big stuff. But while we're looking here at the outside of the light, you're gonna notice that the housing from the Titan looks totally different from the Pro 6 housing. We added a little bit more styling here to the back mount, to the back side of the housing. So it's a little bit more molded like our carbon pod design. We wanted to kind of keep that same design scheme carried throughout. Then on the back of the light, you'll be able to see here on the bottom, we now use a moisture block panel mount connector. What that really means is the wiring plug just plugs directly into the light itself. So no more do you have to deal with this pigtail and you got to figure out where that wiring connection point meets and where you hide it underneath the hood of the vehicle or in the bumper, things like that. Now you just plug that wiring harness right into the back. That moisture block technology that's incorporated right into that panel mount really ensures a nice, strong, sturdy electrical connection, while at the same time keeping all of the water, the gunk, snow, all that bad stuff out. So it's a really solid, bulletproof design. Before we get into the specs, it's important to note that just like every other light in the Gravity family, the Titans use our patented gravity reflective diode technology. So in a quick nutshell, basically what that does is it aims the LEDs backwards at the reflector and then harnessing that forward to result in the brightest, the furthest, and the most precise output for these lights. Basically, that allows us to put the light exactly where we want it downrange. So with that being said, let's get right into the specs for it. The specs, we're gonna be covering the spot beam pattern for these, but we're also gonna put the driving beam and the wide 40 beam specs on screen. And these are all gonna be for 2 lights. So starting off with power draw, the amber mode uses 22.4 watts at 1.9 amps for both lights. Then you flip that switch the other direction and you go into high power mode. That's gonna be 79 watts for both lights at 6.6 amps. Then the number that everybody wants to know about is lumens, right? So the lumens for 2 lights is 5,944. But at KC, we also like to talk about the candela and the lux rating because those are real world measurements that we also feel like are good to know. So the candela rating for the spot beam Titan light, 288,500. That equates to a lux measurement of 2,885 lux. The only other number that's worth knowing is the beam distance. Of course, being a spot beam, this is going to be the narrowest beam, but also the longest distance. So these have a beam distance of 537 meters measured at 1 lux. So there you go, there you have it. Those are all the specs for Titan lights. Next up, let's get right into the unboxing. All right, next up, what is included inside of a pair pack of Gravity Titan LED lights? So of course it's 2 lights, so it's gonna include the 2 spot beam pattern lights or the 2 driving or the 2 wide 40 beam pattern, whichever one you order. It's also going to include 2 of the completely opaque covers for the lights. They're the black ones with the yellow KC logos on it. But we also like to make things super simple when it comes time to installation in the garage. So we include the full wiring harness for it. This includes the relays, it includes the switch for it, it includes a bunch of zip ties, a sticker inside as well, and a little instruction guide, right? The wiring harness itself has all the fuses pre-installed in it, and it uses the triangular 3-pin Deutsch connector that plugs right into the back of the light itself. That way it powers both the amber mode and the high power mode. And the switch, of course, is a 3-pole switch, so that way you can control both modes from one switch. Super easy. That's it. Stickers, zip ties, wiring harness, 2 lights, and the covers. That's what's included inside of a box of Gravity Titan LED lights. Next up, let's take a look at the accessories that are available for the Titan lights. Because we kept the skeleton basically the same, or at least the form factor the same on the Titans as the Pro 6, all the Pro 6 accessories work perfectly for the Titan. That's how we designed it to be. So as I mentioned, each light, each pair pack includes the normal kind of opaque cover, but we also have a bunch of other covers and shields available. So we have the classic kind of OG smiley face. So for those of you that want a little bit more of a retro styling to your Titan lights, this is going to be perfect for that. If you're just looking to keep these lights a little bit extra protected while maintaining kind of that maximum output, we offer a clear shield. This thing is perfect, just durable, extra protection, all that good stuff. Not gonna change the color of the output of the light itself. You can use that with both the amber mode and the white mode, of course. Then if you just want super high power amber output, then we also have the amber shield as well. So this is gonna be perfect for heavy dust, heavy snow, heavy fog, all those kind of low visibility extreme conditions. Amber shields are perfect for that. So all of these, just so I can show it off real quick, they all snap onto the face of the light. You're gonna wanna pay attention to where the tab is. There's little tabs. Those go on the top and the bottom of the light. They just snap on pretty easily, right? And then they also pop off just as easily. Next up, a couple little bonus accessories for the Titan LED lights. The first of which is the light locks. So these are security nuts that go onto the bottom. These you pull off the factory nylock nut with it, and these have a special unique key for the very special security bolt itself. So it's just a little added safeguard for a little bit of extra theft protection for your lights if you've got them mounted in an area that's a little bit easier to get at, like an A-pillar or a front bumper, things like that. So light locks, the number that you're gonna want for the Titan, the individual lights, just like these, is SKU number 7223, AKA the M10s. Okay, finally, these ones are new to KC, new AKA old. We did a rerun of the classic yellow vinyl cover. So these are the 6-inch ones. We got a few different styles. We also have kind of the smiley face ones. We've got the classic KCs. These stretch over and fit over the face of the Titan lights perfectly. It really adds a pretty rad, kind of unique retro look to the Titan lights themselves. So that's a quick look at all the different accessories available for Titan, from the covers to the shields, the light locks, and the vinyls themselves. Next up is the beam patterns, and once again, there are 3 different beam patterns for the single Titan LED lights. The first one is an SAE street legal driving beam. Now, if you want to know more about these beyond what we cover right now, we also have a video all about SAE lights explained, kind of covering all the legalities of it and the different rules and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to know that, click the link or click the link in the description below. Overall, for the SAE driving beam lights for the Titan, these are meant to be mounted in line or below the factory headlights on your off-road rig. These are true street legal, so you can use them on the pavement or on the dirt, but you're gonna wanna use them as though they are your brights. So if you have oncoming traffic at you, especially on a paved road, you're gonna wanna flick them off just because they are pretty bright. So bumper mounted applications, perfect for that. Then moving on to the wide 40 beam pattern. This is a short to mid-range distance light, and it's gonna provide a nice wide area of coverage with a little bit of distance thrown in as well. These are perfect for bumpers or mounted onto the A-pillars if you just like a little bit of a wider spread out light. And the third and final beam pattern for the Titan lights is the spot beam. So if you already have your short and your mid-range fill lighting dialed and you just want that extra distance, spot beam pattern is perfect for that. Or if you find yourself traveling at high speeds all the time, then again, spot beam is gonna be really good for that. So you can mount these either on your bumper or on your A-pillar. I prefer these on the bumper, down low, pointed really far out. Spot beam is excellent for that type of application. As you can tell, the Titan lights are our most feature-rich and our most innovative light that we've pretty much ever made here at KC. So if you have any questions about the Titan lights, please leave us a comment in the comment section below. And if you want to know more about the Titan lights, whether it's about the light bar versions or about the modularity or about any number of different topics, we have a whole playlist dedicated to everything Titan. So check it out in the link in the description below, and that's a ton of knowledge, a really good place to get started with more info all about Titan. With that being said, for this video, that's everything that you need to know about the single gravity Titan LED lights. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and remember to adventure further.